Hello, this is Dr. Ayenshola Ogundele, Astronautics for Exploit. Green energy, the next economic boom. The focus points of my presentation are as follows. Green energy, uses of green energy, types of green energy, and green energy versus clean energy versus renewable energy. In the late 19th century, researchers made the first discovery that human emissions of greenhouse gases could change Earth's energy balance and climate. In the 1960s, scientists had some evidence that confirmed the warming effect of carbon dioxide gas and stressed that human activities that generated atmospheric pollution could produce cooling effects. Green energy, energy derived from natural resources such as sunlight, wind, or water, and which is also often renewable and clean, has been identified by the researchers as a great solution to greater sustainability. Presently, green energy is being used in various forms, such as energy production, thermal heating for buildings, and transportation. The most common sources of green energy are solar power, wind power, hydropower, geothermal energy, biomass, and biofuels. Solar power, a type of renewable energy, is generally produced using photovoltaic cells, which capture sunlight and turn it into electricity. Solar power is being used for various purposes, such as for heating buildings and water, cooking and lighting. Wind power, generally suited to offshore and higher altitude sites, uses the power of the flow of air around the world to push turbines, which then generate electricity. Hydroelectric power generates energy using the flow of water in rivers, streams, and dams to produce electricity. Geothermal energy uses thermal energy that has been stored under the Earth's crust. Geothermal energy is being used for bathing in hot springs and has the potential for use to turn turbines and generate electricity. Green energy. Green energy is energy generated from natural resources, such as sunlight, wind, or water. It is often referred to as clean, sustainable, or renewable energy. The production of green energy doesn't release toxic greenhouse gases into the atmosphere like fossil fuels, and this implies that it causes little or no environmental impact. This picture shows generation of electricity using solar energy. The green in green energy is associated with earth, nature, and sustainability, and embodies nature. An energy is said to be green if it falls within the ranges of zero, low, or neutral in greenhouse gas emissions during energy generation and operation. This picture shows wind turbines and electrical substation of Alpha Ventus offshore wind farm. Natural greenhouse emission. A natural greenhouse emission energy source, for example, biomass, produces some greenhouse emissions when it is used. Its emissions are balanced out by the fact that the biomass absorbs carbon dioxide during the growing process. Low greenhouse emission. A low greenhouse gas emissions energy source will still create some greenhouse gases, but the amount may be minimal, especially when compared to burning coal or natural gas. This picture shows solar panels for the generation of solar power. Renewable energy industry. Not all sources used by the renewable energy industry are green. For example, power generation that burns organic material from sustainable forests may be renewable, but it is not necessarily green. This is because of the carbon dioxide produced by the burning process. Generally, green energy sources are naturally replenished, unlike as in the case of fossil fuel sources like natural gas or coal, which can take millions of years to develop. The picture here shows San Gorgonio Pass wind farm. Uses of green energy. Green energy is increasingly being used for various purposes. Green energy is very important for the environment. It is environmentally friendly, unlike the fossil fuels. Presently, green energy is being used in different forms. It found applications in energy production, thermal heating for buildings, off-highway, and transportation. This picture shows solar panels on the rooftops for the generation of electricity. Transportation is another use of green energy. Sustainable biofuels and renewable electricity are growing in use for transportation across multiple industry sectors. Nowadays, green energy is being used in automobile for transportation. The picture here shows a small hydroelectric power plant for generation of electricity. Another use of green energy is in industrial processes. Renewable heat for industrial processes can be run using biomass or renewable electricity. Hydrogen is now a large provider of renewable energy for the cement, iron, steel, and chemical industries. The picture here shows various biomass sources. Another use of green energy is in the heating and cooling of buildings. Green energy solutions are being used for buildings ranging from large office blocks to homes. This includes solar water heaters, biomass fuel boilers, and direct heat from geothermal, as well as cooling systems powered by renewable sources. The picture here shows circle of biomass energy generation. There are different types of green energy, and each of them is as follows: solar power, wind power, hydropower, geothermal energy, biomass, and biogas. The picture here shows solar and wind power projects. Solar energy is a clean source of energy which comes directly from the sun and solar panels, and are perhaps the most common form of solar energy harvesting. Solar panels are made up of photovoltaic cells. When light from the sun hits these cells, they create an electrical current through the photoelectric effect. The current is then passed through an inverter to turn it into an alternating current, which can be used to power home or added to the national grid. An 1895 hydroelectric power plant is shown in this picture. Wind energy is powered by the sun. This is because winds are caused by the uneven heating of the atmosphere. This unevenness is affected by the topology of the planet Earth, its spin, and how we orbit around the sun. Wind turbines generate kinetic energy that we then use to create electricity. Wind farms. Winds are further modulated by the surface they are passing over, either through land or water. And expansive wind farms are required in order to generate enough electricity so as to make an impact. This picture shows an enhanced geothermal system. Another type of green energy is hydropower. Hydroelectric energy is produced by capturing the energy contained within flowing water. This is best achieved by forcing water to flow through a narrow path, thereby increasing its energy per square meter. This is most commonly achieved by storing water in a reservoir or dam and selectively purging the water by opening an intake. The picture here shows electricity generation using biomass products. Another type of green energy is geothermal energy. The heat air within the fluids and rocks beneath the Earth's crust can create energy. To harness geothermal energy from the steam and hot water, workers dig mile deep wells into underground reservoirs. They then use this steam and hot water to power the turbines connected to electricity generators. This picture shows renewable energy sources. Another type of green energy is biogas. Biogas is a green energy source. It makes use of waste products produced as a byproduct when organic matter decomposes. Biogas comes from materials such as sewage, food, agricultural waste, and manure. Biogas materials are stored in containers without oxygen, and this then causes them to ferment and produce methane and carbon dioxide as well as other gases. This picture shows cycle of biomass energy. Green energy versus clean energy versus renewable energy. Each of these are different from one another. Green energy is the energy that comes from natural sources such as the sun. Clean energy is the energy that does not release pollutants into the air, while renewable energy is the energy that comes from sources that are constantly being replenished, such as hydropower, wind power, or solar energy. This picture shows renewable energy technologies. The differences between green, clean, and renewable energies are shown as follows. Green energy can be obtained from natural sources that meet current energy needs without compromising future generations, and it is a subset of renewable energy representing resources with the smallest environmental footprint. In terms of renewal, green energy comes from renewable energy resources that can be renewed naturally and have the least environmental impact. The energy impact. Green energy is considered the most environmentally friendly resource available to us today, with little to no ongoing environmental impact. Clean energy, in its own case, releases zero or small amount of carbon dioxide and chemical contaminants during production. Green energy is not necessarily renewable and doesn't create large amounts of greenhouse gases or air pollutants. In terms of renewal, clean energy is created without emitting greenhouse gases, though it isn't necessarily naturally renewable. Energy impact. Green energy is power generation without creating adverse environmental impacts like carbon dioxide or greenhouse gases. Most clean energy sources are also renewable, including hydro energy, solar power, and wind power. Renewable energy. It can be obtained from sources that occur naturally and can be replaced naturally and completely within the span of an average human life. Renewable energy sources never run out and they are naturally replenished. Renewable energies are flow limited, and this implies that there is a limit to what can be captured over time. In terms of impact, renewable energy can have an ecological impact depending upon the process used to create the electricity. For more information, contact Astronautics for Exploit. You've been watching and listening to Green Energy, the Next Economic Boom, presented by Dr. Ayenshola Ogundele, with the focus points green energy, uses of green energy, types of green energy versus clean energy, and versus renewable energy. Thank you.